Let's welcome in Jennifer Lee Chan. She works for NBC Sports Bay Area, covers the San Francisco 49ers, and they've been in the news a little bit this past week with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan speaking to the media. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. It's just nice to defrost a little bit out here in Arizona. It's warm.
Oh, nice.
Lucky.
Good for you. Yeah. Good for you. I know that everybody gets really interested in the quarterback position, but to me it seems pretty simple. If Purdy's ready in training camp day one, he'll be the number one. But if he's not, it'll be Trey Lance who'll get the first crack at it. If that's right, then I guess my question is, well, what if they go 2-0 and then Brock Purdy gets healthy? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an interesting situation to be in. Both John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan said that Brock Purdy has earned the right to be that, to have that starting role. But again, if he's not healthy, there's so much uncertainty. Does he come back, right on schedule, which puts him healthy early September? If he's not, Trey Lance is going to get all of those reps. So it kind of depends. It's kind of a wait and see progress type thing. 3 months, they are going to evaluate. 3 months after surgery, they are going to reevaluate how Brock looks, how he's progressing. That's the point where he will be able to start throwing again. That's kind of the big day. So 3 months from March 10th when he had the surgery, they will come take a look at where he's at health-wise, and then it'll be determined whether he can start throwing or not.
Jennifer, I was watching this year's playoffs starting with Seattle, and we all know the Niners got a great defense. But I was telling my partner, you know what? I feel like Bosa needs some help. I feel like the D-line needs to be more disruptive, and they go out and get Hargrave. That blew me away. But they've also lost some other players on the D-line, not as big as Bosa and Javon Hargrave. How much depth does this D-line have, and do you think that'll be addressed in the draft?
I think definitely there's edge in the draft, and it goes pretty deep. So John Lynch said that, the draft works out perfectly for them. Their picks start at, 99 and go up from there. They do have quite a few picks, but not early. There is a lot of depth at that position, so I think they're looking good there. But you look at what, I kind of referenced this during a 49ers Talk podcast. You look at how Aaron Donald and how productive he is. Not that he's the same position as Nick Bosa, but what Von Miller did when he arrived with the Rams and how that changed how the defensive line was able to attack the quarterback. It's very similar to what Javon Hargrave brings Hargrave brings to the 49ers defense. They've been looking for that second guy. Or a third guy. Eric Armstead obviously is very productive there in the interior, but having another guy like Javon is going to be a huge game changer for the defensive line. I talked to Jed York about it, and he said, the defensive line has been so good, but now they're going to even get better. They've been looking for that kind of extra element, and with that, it makes the secondary's job so much easier because rush and coverage are still connected. So they're really looking for a big jump up in production from the defensive line. I think they're going to get it.
Jennifer Lee Chan joining us on 95.7 The Game. She works for NBC Sports Bay Area. She covers the San Francisco 49ers. Where do you think Sam Darnold fits into this quarterback situation? Will he have a chance to beat out Trey Lance?
I think he will have a chance. I mean, Kyle Shanahan said he doesn't know how the reps are going to work out. They're both going to get first-team reps, and they're going to see how it goes. Sam Darnold is a really smart kid. You look at how he played at USC, and he was really one of the only players on that roster. He kind of willed the team to win when he was there. Didn't have the best situations coming out of the draft with Jets, and then with Carolina, he started to play a little bit better. I've talked to a lot of Carolina guys. I talked to people high up in the Panthers organization, and they said that they believe that this is such a great situation for Sam Darnold to be in, where he doesn't have to carry the team on his back. He's got a lot of supporting cast members with him. The best situation in the NFL he's been in since he was drafted. So it'll be interesting to see how he takes it, how he runs with it. If he can let go of that kind of hero complex that he has, where he has to do everything on the team, because he won't need to. I mean, you've got guys like Christian McCaffrey, who he knows from his time at Carolina, George Kittle, Kyle Juszczyk, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. I mean, the list goes on and on. He's never had a really solid offensive line, and that's what he's getting with the 49ers. So I believe his production will be more consistent, and it'll take a bump up for sure.
Jennifer, you're around the team. This is your job. You're around the team every day. And, I'm on the couch watching this team or catching an occasional game. And I look at Jimmy Ward, and I've always been a fan because of his physicality. I just felt like he brought presence. Now, I don't know if it was a vocal presence, but I know he's no longer there. How big of an impact is it that he's gone?
I think anytime you lose a veteran like that, it is a big impact. But you look at what Deshaun Gibson brought to the role last year, and Jimmy wasn't healthy for much of the beginning of the season. Deshaun Gibson was only supposed to play until Jimmy Ward got healthy, and he played so well that he ended up keeping the role. And he is such a huge part of Talanoa Hufanga's game. I expect him to have a huge jumper to production this year as well. Just because, another year and being able to let your instincts kind of take over and having the right instincts on the field. You saw Talanoa Hufanga make a huge jumper to production. I think part of that was his connection with Deshaun Gibson. Their communication, their connection on the field is going to be huge going forward in 2023.
Jennifer Lee Chan joining us on 95.7 The Game. She covers the Niners for NBC Sports Bay Area. Do you think the 49ers have kicked the tires on Lamar Jackson? And if they haven't, why not?
You look at the way the team is built. I mean, they've got so many star players at every position, and they're able to do that because they have two quarterbacks that are on rookie deals.
Right.
Arnold's on a very inexpensive one-year deal. They cannot afford to have, a $50 million a year quarterback. With looking ahead, they've got to give a ton of money to Nick Bosa. He deserves it. That's their priority at this point. And you need a guy who, yes, Lamar Jackson is an incredible talent. He probably would be, with him on the roster, I can't imagine they would not see the postseason. But when you look at how the team's built and how the salary cap, yes, it's going up, but really the reason they're able to do that is because they have these guys at quarterback that aren't getting paid a ton of money. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles, that's how they were able to, get deep into the postseason and able to have the roster that they had last year. Now that they have to pay Jalen Hurts, it completely changes what they're going to be able to do financially with the rest of their roster. So, at this point, I think they're happy with who they have, whether it's going to be a healthy Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, or, Sam Darnold competes and wins the job. I think because of the way their roster is built, it's really looking like it's kind of an impossibility for them to bring a guy, and that's such a high price like Lamar Jackson.
All right, so salary cap is a big part of it, and I'm sure the NFL salary cap. Obviously, it's very difficult. We always hear that teams are able to finagle or move money around. What would that even look like for the 49ers? Like who would, if they were to do something like that, who would it cost them?
It would cost them someone big. It's got to be, would you rather? It's kind of like an either or. They want to keep Nick Bosa. He's going to end up being the highest paid defensive player in the league. You have to give up someone of that caliber, that type of price to get a guy like Lamar Jackson. Now, yes, the salary cap is going up, and a lot of teams are they play that, we'll pay you next year for play now.
Right.
Convert it into signing bonuses, and then, the money goes to the cap the year forward. But eventually, it's going to catch up with you, and you're going to hit a year where you don't have money to pay your players, and you're going to be way over the cap. So, the Niners are a team that have always looked ahead. They always take a look at the salary cap and plan ahead. And, yes, they can convert some guys. I know, I think Fred Warner had a restructuring done so they could have a little bit more money, cash for this year. And then I'm sure they're going to structure Nick Bosa's contract where it doesn't hit as heavy, the first year, and it'll be heavier going forward. So, there's so much strategy involved in that. But, when you add a guy who wants $45-50 million guaranteed, that's kind of, that goes against your cap immediately. And I just don't think it's something that the Niners can do.
Jen, if I had $1 for every time I got on this microphone and said, George Kittle needs to be featured more, and, he's a great blocker, I get it. I'm like, he can do what Kelsey's doing. In comes Brock Purdy, and all of a sudden, Kittle is unleashed. If I were to ask you the biggest impact of just outside of the wins from Brock Purdy taking over, couldn't you look at just the production from Kittle?
I mean, there was so much that helped Brock Purdy be productive. I think a huge part of it also was Christian McCaffrey being added to the roster, and that was a huge bump for the offense. But yeah, I think you look at guys who have been with the 49ers for a long time, and Kittle is one of the most tenured guys on the offense. That was a huge kind of a safety net for Brock Purdy. And, any of those guys, they've all, you look at it again, veterans, professionals, best at their position. That's why Brock Purdy succeeded. And also, I mean, not taking any credit away from Brock Purdy, because he is a consummate professional and prepares his socks off all the time. I think, the combination of that is why they were successful.
Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
No problem. You guys have a great afternoon.